Say nothing. Even your breath counts as a prayer. Rowan pressed the first forbidden coin to the counter. The wood went cold. The chandelier stilled. The back alley shop half chapel, half butcher held its breath with him. Lantern glass filmed over like ice. Ivy stood at his shoulder, shaking. Do it fast, she mouthed. Her eyes said more. Save him. Save our little brother. Behind the counter, the cashier watched with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He looked clay smooth, like someone sculpted him and forgot to add pores. 2 coins, he said softly. 1 for mercy. 1 for the silence that must follow. Rowan slid the second coin. He kept his voice in his chest like a caged bird. The rules were clear. Don't say the name of the one you love. Don't say the name of the one you fear. The gods were listening in the rafters, curled like smoke. The coins drank the candlelight until the flames were black. The cashier laid a thin hand over them. Purpose? Rowan thought of Finn, 13, small and stubborn, pinned to a hospital bed by a fever the city had no word for. A god sickness, the nurses called it when they thought no one was listening. He pictured Finn's sunburnt nose and the jelly bean jar they'd never finish. He nodded once. He would not give the gods a name to taste. The cashier closed his eyes. The iron bell above the door rang without moving. A hush fell that was deeper than silence, a hush with teeth. Then the coins vanished like drops in sand. It is purchased, the cashier murmured. A path cleared. A rope cut. Rowan almost whispered thank you, but Ivy gripped his sleeve hard enough to bruise. He swallowed the thank you whole. They turned to go. Wait, the cashier said. He winked, slow as a clock. Keep the change. Rowan frowned. They hadn't given extra. But the cashier slid something across the counter anyway, a small disc that looked like a coin but thinner, newer, warm. He didn't take it. He didn't dare. They left. The bell rang once more, a promise or a threat. The rain outside was golden where the street lamps hit it. Ivy kept pace beside him, hood up, jaw tight. What did he mean? Nothing, Rowan said, but his stomach was a fist. They reached the hospital as thunder rolled low. Finn's room was the same and not. Same bed, same machines. But the air felt like a river about to break its banks. Finn opened his eyes and smiled. Rowan's knees gave out. He pressed his forehead to Finn's knuckles and felt warmth. Real warmth. No fire sweat. No tremble. Ivy cried without noise. It worked, he thought. The light stuttered 3 times. In the ceiling panel, Rohan saw his reflection in a jag of glass. But it didn't move like him. It tilted its head too late, smiled too wide. A draft slid through the sealed window. The hairs on his arms lifted. There were other rules he hadn't told Ivy. Mercy shifts weight, but weight does not disappear. If a god lets you cut a rope, something else has to catch the fall. The faucet began to drip, 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 faster. Finn's smile faltered. Thirsty, he whispered. Like swallowing a desert. Ivy went to call a nurse, but the door wouldn't open. It tugged and stayed shut, as if a hand on the other side pressed it closed. The air smelled strange, like rain on copper. Rowan remembered the cashier's wink. Keep the change. A chill crawled through him. If mercy was paid, if silence was paid, what was change? The faucet stopped mid-drip. The droplet hung in the air, perfect and round. It did not fall. It turned and looked at Rowan with a tiny mirrored eye. A voice curled from the vent, bored and bright. Who owes us? Rowan's throat went dry. He kept his mouth closed. His heart pounded his ribs like a door. The droplet laughed, tiny and cold. Not speaking? Good boy. It stretched thin and thin until it formed a silver thread from faucet to floor. Letters rippled across it, made of light. You paid for mercy. New letters burned underneath. Who pays for change? Ivy whispered. We didn't. The thread snapped. The droplet fell, hit the tile, and became a coin, perfect and black. It spun and stopped with a word facing up. Not Finn's name. Rowan's. He saw the trick then. Sharp and cruel. When the cashier said, keep the change, he'd meant the leftover balance. The gods had rounded up. The change due was someone's years shaved off to even the math. His years, he grabbed the coin. It burned. He didn't let go. Take me, he said, breaking the rule without thinking. Leave them. The room leaned. The monitor lines melted like wax and reformed into a doorway on the wall, a rectangle of dark sea. From it came wing beats like a book slamming shut over and over. Finn shrank back. Ivy stepped in front of him, eyes blazing. Prophecies be burned, she said. We aren't bargains. We're family. The doorway pulsed. A shape moved, tall and thin, wearing night like a suit. Its face was a mask of coins. It smelled like rain and old promises. Payment accepted, it said. Come, Rowan felt the tug at his chest, the hook under his heart. He took one step, another. Ivy grabbed his wrist. No, he looked at Finn. The boy shook his head. Don't. Rowan wanted to be brave. He wanted to be smart. He wanted both and got neither. He offered the coin instead, the one with his name. Take this, he said. Take the name. I'll earn it back. The coin-faced thing cocked its head. Silence stretched. Then it laughed. Behind the mask, something like teeth glinted. You offer a name? Clever child. Names are keys? It leaned closer. But whose lock? The door behind it rippled. For a heartbeat, Rowan saw the alley shop, the counter, the cashier counting something invisible. The man looked up as if he felt Rowan seeing him through a hole in the world. He winked again, slowly. Ivy whispered, shaking. There's another rule we missed. Rowan swallowed. Which? If you keep the change, she said, you change the keeper. The coin in his palm softened. It wasn't metal now. It was a heartbeat. It beat once, twice. Then it answered for him, loud and bright, a bell inside his bones. May. The doorway exploded with wind. The coin-faced being staggered. The hospital bed slid toward the wall. Finn grabbed the rails and screamed. Ivy caught him with both arms. Rowan! Rowan pressed the living coin to his chest. If names are keys, he said through his teeth, open for me. The wall split not into darkness, but into a street Rowan knew. Not past or future? The night of the shop. The door that led to the cashier? A loop, a chance, a way to change the keeper. He looked back once. Ivy's face was wet with storm. Finn mouthed, come back. Rowan stepped through the split and the wind cut off. He was in the alley again, rain ticking like glass. The bell over the chapel door swayed without sound. The cashier stood behind the counter, already smiling. Returned merchandise? He asked. Rowan set the living coin down and leaned in. No, he said. I'm here to change the price. The cashier's smile flattened. Somewhere above, the gods drew closer. The bell lifted itself. It rang once. And the doors locked. Want the next move? Tap follow before the bell rings again.